One particular thing that we want to consider now that we've thought about order of operations, and in particular now that we've thought about the fraction bar as a grouping symbol, is what are called complex fractions. A complex fraction is a fraction whose numerator and or denominator contains fractions and or decimals. So for example, 3.5 over 5.5, 0.95 over 1.05, or 2/3 over 1.5. Now, when we're confronted with one of these complex fractions, what we'd really like to do is simplify it, that is, write it as a fraction in lowest terms. And there are three methods that we can use to do this. For any particular complex fraction, you should use whichever method seems easiest. The first method is to interpret the main fraction bar as indicating division. So if we want to simplify 3.5 over 5.5, we can write that as 3.5 divided by 5.5. And now we can perform this division by hand. To do that, we need to make each mixed number into an improper fraction. 3.5 is 7/2. 5.5 is 11/2. Rewrite it as multiplication, 7/2 times 2/11. Multiply the numerators and the denominators. Cancel common factors, and we get 7/11. Or we could divide on a calculator. We'll enter this as parentheses 3 plus 1 over 2 divided by parentheses 5 plus 1 over 2. And when we compute that, we get some awful decimal, which we convert to a fraction, and again we get 7/11. Okay, so that's the first method. The second method works most easily for decimals, and it consists of multiplying the numerator and denominator by the same thing. In the case of decimals, the thing that you want to multiply by is a power of 10, and your goal is that the numerator and denominator should be whole numbers. So in this case, both of these decimals go to the hundredths. So in this case, I want to multiply my numerator and denominator both by 100. And notice that the net result of multiplying a decimal by 100 is that I'll have 2 fewer digits after the decimal point. So in both of these cases, I will have no digits after the decimal point. Now this is not in lowest terms yet, right? I still need to eliminate any common factors. So 95, well, 5 goes into 95. What's the other factor? 19. 5 is prime. 19, going through my list of small primes, 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, and 13. None of these is a factor of 19, so 19 is also prime. 105, 5 is a factor, the other factor is 21. 5 is prime, 21 is 3 times 7, 3 and 7 are each prime. So 95 is 5 times 19. 105 is 5 times 3 times 7. 5's cancel. All that's left in the numerator is 19, and in the denominator, 21. Method 3 is simply to use the calculator. So here we'll take 2/3 over 1.5, and then convert that to a fraction. And we get 4/9. Any of these methods are totally fine. If I ask you to simplify by hand, I want to see method 2 or method 1 and see you divide by hand.